Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Creators Connect series. My name is Luca, but you can call me that camera guy. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your love and support. I truly appreciate it. And if you are new here, please do consider subscribing if you like this video. And today's episode of the show, we're joined by a pair of photographers. Names are Cheslyn and E20, who are based out of Cape Town, South Africa. They complement each other very well, and that they understand one another's creative and business weaknesses and strengths, and are able to meet each other at their points of need. In the show, Cheslyn and Ethan tell us some of the core benefits of being able to work as a pair, and they also tell us how they've been able to stay creatively relevant in this hectic COVID period. So just sit back, relax, and let's connect with Ches and So again, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to both Cheslyn and Ethan for being here, taking time out of your busy schedules, to just sit down and chat with me. I really do appreciate it. And my first question to them, as a pair that works together, is it something that's easy? I know for myself, I've been taking photos for about 3 years, and I've mostly done work by myself. I do have people come through and like give me an assistance here and there. But when I spoke to Cheslyn, he immediately mentioned Ethan. He was like, I'm not doing this thing without my boy Ethan. So how does it feel to have someone you work with and you can rely on? This is a question for both of you.
Well, for me it's quite easy because I'm more laid back than Cheslyn, so in that sense I would ask him to communicate with the client because I'm not really a talkative person. I keep to myself.
Okay.
So with him on my side, everything is easier, so I can more focus on taking great pictures and directing things and making sure, in a sense, just the middleman between me and the client, even if we're doing it together, because I'll mostly be quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you heard from Ethan, right, I'm more the people person. So if, for example, we're doing a shoot now, I'll be with the person, I'll talk to you, I'll converse with you, I'll make you more relaxed. You'll be happy actually to do the shoot because we're more proactive.
Yeah.
And the more you feel the photographer is actually talking to you, they'll be happy and they'll be more relaxed, you know?
Yeah.
So and in the scenes like that, Ethan is on that moment when we're speaking, Ethan will get himself ready to take that shot, so that customer or consumer will be so happy, right? You'll get that brightness out of that shot, you know. So that's my point of view with working together. So it's really great.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to know each other's weaknesses, know each other's strengths, especially if you're working in a team, so that we can be able to exploit one another's strengths and make sure that you're having each other's backs when it comes to the weaknesses. And I like that you have that partnership going and you know one another. And I think photography is a very intimate thing. Being in front of, being behind the camera, speaking to the people you're taking photos of, and you guys do a lot of portraits as well. So it's very important to be able to connect with the clients, and it's good that you guys know whose role it is in the partnership, which is super cool. But on the topic of you guys taking portraits, I've realized that that's what you guys mostly do. I don't know if you guys do anything else. Do you guys take photos of anything else, or you just strictly portraits and you want to be known for being masters at that?
Should I answer it first?
I'll go first again. So I want to be a portrait photographer. Obviously we do other things, but we only show what we want to do.
Okay.
So there's a lot of weddings and stuff that we don't post because you know how it goes. You don't actually want to do that, but it's more the money comes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me go do that. But
yeah. So and Ethan said again there, the portraits is the main focus. So as you have seen on our feed on Instagram, you'll legit see portraits, hard work focusing on one person alone, not with different individuals at the same time.
Yeah.
Mostly one person, one-on-one shoots.
Yeah.
And that actually works. But like Ethan said again, we do a lot of different work. So we focus on weddings, birthdays, family shoots. We do all that. But nobody knows that because that's actually more on the side. Our actual focus is portraits, but we can't do anything else.
Yeah, which is super cool. I think in an industry that's heavily saturated in terms of how many photographers are coming up now, it's quite important to be able to be versatile. In as much as portraits and lifestyle and fashion may be something that you are more passionate about, like you said, you have to pay the bills. You have to get paid. So it is important for you to be like diverse and versatile and be able to like shoot other things, weddings, parties, maybe even products once in a while if you're able to do that as well. But I mean, we've just come out of a really, really hectic year. 2020 was really tough. No one expected it to be the way it was. And it took a big toll on people like us who need to be out and about and in a public environment and like interacting with people. So it was difficult for photographers, for creators to be able to sustain themselves throughout 2020. But we've started off 2021 and it doesn't look like things are going to change. They might even get worse. So how are you guys? Yeah. So how are you guys able to stay above water, to keep your heads above water during 2020, staying relevant as creatives, keep your creative juices flowing, and how do you plan to do that again in 2021 if things remain the way they are?
Okay. In my regards in 2020, the thing is, when lockdown hit, right? At that moment, I had a lot of shoots lined up, right?
Yeah.
Photography is not my first priority for me. For Ethan, it is first priority. So I do work as like outside this photography.
Okay.
So even when I did have a lot of shoots lined up and like everything had to be cancelled, it was a bit tough because like normally you plan out your month to month with the clients that you like line up,
Yeah.
and that did take a little bit of a toll on me, but with just working hard regarding that after that, and like after like the restrictions came a bit lower and down, and then I actually started lining up shoots again, and with doing that shoots I actually kept my story going. So like people see work is starting to pick up again, and that actually brought more consumers to me. So it actually helped me stay relevant in the photography line now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I could continue to work outside my photography as well.
Okay. And for you, Ethan?
So I studied last year photography at the Stellenbosch Academy.
Okay.
So for me, last year wasn't a thing for me of being irrelevant. Like I wanted to finish my studies, but obviously I did shoot in the meantime, and then COVID came. Like it was horrible, but in a sense for me it was good. It's like because I needed this rest because like of all like the anxiety and stress. So it was like, okay, cool. Like here's a break. Like I don't need to worry about having money or whatever. Like luckily I had some savings, so like I was fine. But there's that like all those praises were gone. It's like okay, like everyone has to be so it's fine. Like you do nothing. But through school I was still doing shoots, and I don't know, you probably know the brand Russell.
Yes, I do.
And like lockdown I've done everything for the band because I am like in-house photographer, so in that way I was still being creative because I still was working, but for me the rest was what I needed.
All right, so you guys have both mentioned two very interesting things that are separate, and I think I'll start with Cheslyn, who's mentioned that photography isn't his main priority. He does work outside of photography. How do you find a balance? How do you strike a balance between your outside work and your photography, and ensuring that you continually feed your passion and creativity in photography, despite the fact that you've got work that you need to focus on?
Yeah, the thing is, with my work, right? When I leave work stays at work. Okay. So it doesn't come home with me.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
So photography, like when I get home after work and like maybe we did a shoot now, I'll sit myself out after work. I'll maybe do like 10 or 20 photos. That's my night's work when I get home. So I'll do that. I'll split it throughout the week or the 2 weeks. Like if the consumer said, okay, the work will be done like in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll set it out. After work, I'll focus on that. And weekends, I'll focus on the photography as well.
That's really cool. And Ethan also mentioned something about him studying at Stellenbosch Academy. And I've been in a lot of conversations with people and so many different opinions about whether it's the right thing to, go into school, into formal education to study creativity, to study art, to study things like that. A lot of people do feel like, you should be free to express yourself. You shouldn't be confined by the limits of education. But how was the experience for you? Let's hear it firsthand from someone who actually. Do you think that it was worth it to enroll and study it, or do you think that someone can succeed without, being in mainstream education?
Yeah, because being there, I guess I feel like it's not worth it.
Okay.
But I've learned a lot of things that I don't know. So for that I'm grateful. So I would in a sense it is important, but I mean you can do just as much learning by yourself as we've done these years. So
yeah. So it's not like a dead end if you don't enroll and pursue the
exactly and it's a lot of money just watch YouTube it's okay, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest part. I mean it's crazy, we laugh about it, but you're so right. There's just so much abundance of information, not just with photography, but with just everything in general. I remember because I'm studying at Stellenbosch University, and one of my economic lecturers was like, if you want to pass this module, go watch this YouTube channel and you pass.
Exactly.
He didn't teach us anything. There was no lessons that he taught me that I can say, my lecturer helped me pass, but I found everything on YouTube. So it's very possible for one to completely invest in just decent enough internet connection and learn everything they can and learn everything. Because
you're internet thing because when I started I didn't have internet, so you buy 1 gig data.
Yeah.
Just go down this tutorials on YouTube and you're okay, I'm gonna do this now.
Yeah. And I think the beautiful thing about photography and art is that you can learn one thing, but you always want to express it the way you want to express it. They can teach you everything they can about ISO and shutter speed and lighting, but there's no one way to do it. It's always through practice and your own actual experience that you learn and find your own style, which is pretty cool about the art, and I love that about it. But my next question is, what's the most valuable thing that either of you find in working as a team? For you, Cheslyn, what's the most important thing for you to work with Ethan, and for Ethan, what's the most important thing for you to work with Cheslyn?
Okay, in my point of view, it just makes everything much easier.
Okay.
I don't know if you notice, I know what I want to do and how I want to do it, right? But it simplifies everything having him here and having to focus. You will see something different from his perspective while I'm busy with that consumer. And then if I go with that and it's and it makes everything so much better.
Mm-hmm.
That's from my point of view it just makes everything simplistic.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. For me, just knowing that I have him or have him with me makes it easier, and then I don't have to. How can I say he believes in what I see, so therefore that makes me happy. So that loyalty for me is the best thing out of this relationship.
Yeah, that's cool. And did you guys meet as business, or you guys were friends before and you sort of found a genuine connection or middle ground in the passion for photography and started working together? How did you guys meet and start working together?
So we weren't friends. We met through other friends. Okay. And I honestly I still don't know how it came that me and him became friends, and we left those guys that we met through.
That's funny.
And then we just started taking pictures every single weekend. If we had a chance, we would do it.
We were just I know Ethan, me and Ethan's sister were basically in class together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always seen Ethan there, but we were never friends. So you said, I actually went to pick up these friends of mine, and Ethan was with him. And we went out, and it was a weekly thing. We went out and we partied. And we went to Stellenbosch. That was the thing. We went every Wednesday night. We went Sally's and we were partying. And at the end of the day, me and Ethan had a conversation, and I found out Ethan does photography, and at that time I didn't have a camera, right? Okay. I was just shooting with friends' cameras. And me and Ethan linked up. We started the weekend like our one friend deleted. It was me, him, and one friend deleted. So we went out weekends. If we went to town, if we were like even in our area,
Yeah.
and we would like get some great content. And from there just built up, and we started actually shooting, and like we made like, okay, this is gonna be our price. Let's do work. And from that point onward, we built up to where we are now, and it was great though. I'm not gonna lie, it was
Wow. That's actually pretty dope. It's funny how the partnership came to be, but
Yeah.
it's funny how everything has its time and things just happen to fall in place because that's just how it was supposed to be. And I think I'm grateful that you guys found each other because the work that you guys do is actually pretty cool, and I look up to the style of work that you guys do. I hope it. I hope it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I hope that it can continue to grow and the business and your guys' name can continue to grow. But I think this question is more directed to Ethan and the work he's done for Brasa, and like tell us a little bit more about that, how you came into contact with them and what they're about, and you know how it is to be the in-house photographer for a growing brand as well.
So me and Sakul, we were in the same class, grade 8.
Okay.
And then like high school goes and you change subjects and classes, but we met up again. And then after school, we didn't really talk, but we were friends. And then like I got the camera and I started taking pictures. And then he messaged me on Facebook like, "Yo, how are you? I see you take pictures. Like I'm starting a brand, Brasa. Don't you want to take pictures?" I'm like, "Oh wait, let's go." We come there, so I don't. Chad is he's like also a manager there by Brasa.
Okay.
So he was supposed to be the model, and then he had to test that day. And then me and Sakul ended up taking pictures of each other. And that's how Brasa started. And then like the hype became, we got more hoodies. And it just went off from there. And like the same like with Sakul was also like just that believing in me, like whatever I did, like it was good enough, and that made me feel good because like I am very anxious or I never feel like I am good enough.
Yeah.
So when that happened, it was just beautiful, and like it's still going on. Like it is some things you can't explain. Like or for me, like I said, I don't like talking a lot. So like what I would want to say is just like in my head, but I don't know how to put it out.
No, I get you 100%. I think I can definitely relate with a bunch of things you've said. I think first of all, it's not being able to express yourself. I'm definitely a very much introverted person. And it's very ironic that I have a show where I have to talk to people, but I'm very introverted and I struggle to express what I want to express. So I can definitely relate to you. And when it comes to not being confident with yourself, I think it's every creator's biggest hurdle. I think we are our own worst enemy when it comes to growing and progressing as creators, because we tell ourselves constantly that, hey, flip, we're not good enough. And I think in a world where there's so much content being posted and so much easy access to find, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's hard to look at the work of other people and be like, I'm not at their level, or I don't have their gear, and then tell yourself, you know what, it's not worth it, stop pursuing it. But when you're able to find someone who can hop onto your wagon and hop onto your dream and give you a chance, it's really something you can't put into words. You can only but be grateful for people like that in the world who are like, you know what, I'm going to give this person a chance. So I think the work you've done with Brasa is actually absolutely amazing. Follow their channel on Instagram, their page on Instagram. First of all, quality products. I can't wait to get my hands on a pair of them myself, but I think the photography work as well, the creative side of the marketing of it as well is top shelf. And my hat goes off to the work you guys are doing there. It's absolutely amazing. I do recommend anyone to check it out. Yeah. What is the plan for you guys and this brand? I know Cheslyn just said that he works and photography isn't really the priority, but how far is this photography thing going? Is it something you guys talk about or have planned, or you sort of going wherever the wind takes you with it and seeing where it goes?
Yeah. Or like at the moment for us, I would say if I go with the way the wind blows, just like we just wait for that gig and then like we do it. But like for me, like I need to or I'm looking for a job, or like still for a job, but like I want to take this thing further. Like I would actually like to start my own media company,
Wow.
like someday. So like
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I am like I am. I'm gonna get there.
You definitely
But I
will
just-
get there. You definitely will.
we're gonna get there. I just need to like figure out obviously all the big and small stuff, but we're gonna get there. Like with Baras, it's gonna make it easier because like the knowledge I've learned there is it's immense.
That's the stuff you don't get when you're enrolled in school. That kind of
Yeah.
experience. You don't get that in school for sure. And Cheslyn, what's it for you? What's the plan? Is photography just again going with the wind kind of thing?
The thing is, yeah, like it's going with the wind, but I'm not gonna stop doing photography. Like this is gonna continue with me. Whatever I do going forward, I'm still gonna work with Ethan, and I'm gonna continue shooting. Like it's something I love to do, so it's not something that's forced on me, but it's also something I'm not gonna stop doing now.
Yeah.
So I'll continue staying on this path. And the thing is, like, we never know the logistic of how things will end up, but I'll do my best to continue working. Because if I think of how I started going to photography, it's just shooting work with a friend, like in town,
Yeah.
parties and stuff like that. I was a normal party goer, actually. And I started being friends with a photographer at the club. And normally, as night go on, I'll take the camera, I'll snap the photos for the night, and it continued to be a weekly thing. And I know I actually started liking it a lot, and that's what sparked the passion, I think.
Yeah, actually like a massive plug. Like you know so many people. It's unbelievable. Like he has put me in situations I didn't even dream of and stuff. Like this guy, yo.
That's pretty cool, and it's actually one of the questions I was going to ask next. Is that how do you stay, relevant in the market? Like, there's just so many photographers out there, and it's hard for you to like. Let me speak for myself. It's definitely difficult to find a market because there's just so many photographers, and some, are charging way less than others and things like that. But you mentioned that Cheslyn knows so many people, and I think that's the importance of networking when it comes to being a freelancer. It's important to know people. It's important to be able to speak to people, and I think it's pretty cool that you, Ethan, you're paired up with someone who's very good at that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, how do you? I mean, Cheslyn, being the guy who knows so many people, how do you do that? How do you ensure that I'm relevant in this market and people are constantly looking for me to provide the service for them?
Okay, firstly, if we're gonna look at the market for photography, it's actually growing now because a lot of people feel like their time on this world is gonna be cut short. Yeah. So it's like they want to create memories, they want to get married, they want to celebrate their birthdays now. So I've noticed there's a lot of people, like, your work will be quality, right? Yeah. My work is quality. And people see that. Now, there's people that actually take their prices down very low and they're like taking that consumers down to that, like, I don't like people that have bad quality. I would even bring my price down if you know you came to me because I don't like people that have bad. So now you're coming, you're not even the real photographer. Yeah. And you're taking the work away from an actual photographer right now that can get the quality work out. And so I've posted a few things about that where I said, like, please rather go to a proper photography that's going to give you proper work because it's your memories in the day that you want to get captured. Yeah. So I'll put my work out. I'll even normally have a conversation like in what's work that we can put out. Let's put out a special maybe. So even if like our work is great, but the thing is people normally go for that photographers that don't ask a lot. Yeah, but that's then true. The work is but not the quality good, is not top. Yeah, it's I like I said, I didn't even study for photography. Like we've been working on this, getting like we stay for every week. I learn something new, and I work on it. I build on that, but I'll never want people to have bad photos. Like that's it's really bad. I don't like it.
It's hard to watch. It's definitely hard to watch.
I know from your perspective, you don't like it as well. I know.
It's definitely hard to watch and see people, and it's something I always talk about in these interviews, especially when I'm sitting down with photographers and I'm just asking, like, I mean, how does it make you feel when people undercut their prices? And it's, I think, as well as people doing that, it just makes photography not seem like a real thing. I just I just get this feeling that sometimes people look at us and they're like, oh, this guy has a camera, can we just like get him to take photos and then compensate him a little bit? It's not, people don't actually look at it as something that has a lot of time put into it, a lot of efforts, and a lot of gear that's been purchased into delivering the best quality work.
Yeah.
So when people start charging cents on the dollar for a 30-minute shoot, people just really think we're just some dudes who have a hobby, and let's just give him.
That's what it got to.
Yeah,
like, it really got to that point. People are like, you're just taking a photo.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
Did you really just tell me that now?
I have a lot of people who are like, you know what, if you think it's just me taking a photo, then you might as well just whip out your cell phone and take your own photos on the day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I do feel like for us to be respected in the industry as actual people who are doing actual work, we need to start to respect each other as photographers as well before people outside, because I think we definitely are not respecting one another by undercutting price. I think it's become more of a competition than anything else, very much so.
Yeah.
People are just trying to get as much work as they can, and it kind of ruins the beauty of the art, the beauty of photography.
Like in that sense, I'm not like kind of mad at those people because like we all need to eat. So
that's the hard part as well.
If it works for you, it works for you. So then like I'm happy, like I won't eat it. But if you suck, you suck.
but that's actually very true. That's actually very true. Something interesting I was reading was like, it doesn't matter how expensive or how cheap someone is. If your work is good, people are always going to look for you. People will always be willing to pay extra dollar for the best quality phone or the best quality laptop. And there are cheap options out there, but people want what's quality. So if you continue to produce quality, I think people who are willing to pay for it will definitely find you. And I think that's the beauty of it as well. But yeah, I think it definitely does feel short, but I think we've been talking for almost about 30 minutes now. And I think that's about all the questions I had. I only have one question left for either one of you. But I just want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sitting through this and allowing me to pick your brains and share all these things that you've learned. It's been absolutely an honor for me to do so. And the question is, what advice would you give to anyone who is starting or who is considering to pursue any form of creative journey and are hesitating a little bit?
I guess just believe in yourself, man. And if you truly love it, don't give up. Like you might get like jaded by thinking of money. Yeah. But like what I've came to learn is like, if you do something you love and you get like paid for it, and it's worth it. But you shouldn't be focused on the money. Just continue like doing what you love. Like this world is anyway just temporary. So like don't let other people like mess with your mind.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. From my point of view is never stop. Even if you have to take a detour to get to that point where you want to be, never stop. Like all around us is people that always say things that things doesn't matter. Like I said, told Ethan as well. Like even if you're down, we can continue. Like as long as we're standing, you can continue to go.
Yeah.
Focus on that. Like even if you have to do other things around that to make that work, don't let your creativity go. Don't let like your feelings inside, like this is not working for me. Don't let that push you down also.
Yeah.
You know, there's always that voices in your head like saying, I don't think this is gonna work for me. Don't let that ever happen to you. Try to stay positive. Positivity is key. I know sometimes people get to a point where anxiety does get you.
Yeah.
And you do stress. But one thing I always say is, does the stress help you in growing.
No, it doesn't.
If it doesn't, get out of that. Speak to somebody that you trust and get you over that deal, and you will be able to do it.
Yeah, you guys, you're mentioning very key stuff, and I think for Ethan,
With that being said, what would you tell them?
wow.
You're in the same boat, so how would you?
I've definitely been put on the spot. I definitely would. It's weird to be on the receiving end of these questions, but I definitely would tell them to go for it with whatever you have. I think for me, my biggest hurdle was feeling like I don't have the right gear, and I always put it off. I was like, I don't have the right camera, I don't have the right laptop, I don't have the right this, I don't have that, and I just put off creating content because of that. And then I just got to. It was actually the beginning of COVID where I had nothing to do, and I was at home so much. I was like, you know what, just go for it, give it a try, and alas, it turned out to be something. So whatever you have, whether it's a cell phone, if it's photography, whatever it is you have, use it to the best of your ability. Start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. That's definitely what I would tell someone. Never, and like this business of comparing each other. And I was going to mention like what Ethan said. It's very easy for people to look down on you, especially in a world where there's so much easy reach to people's work. You post something on Instagram and you've got 50 people commenting negative stuff about it in like an hour. So it's very difficult for you to be positive in situations like that. But you need to. I would tell someone to stop comparing themselves to someone who's 5 years into the journey and you're only a month in. Like the math doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? The math doesn't make sense. They have what they have because they've worked so hard for it. You also need to start somewhere and start working for it, and then see where you're gonna get in 5 years. And I promise you, you won't be in the same space if you're consistent and you don't give up. That's that's definitely what I'll tell them. But thank you so much. I just wanted to say, thank you. If you guys do have any closing remarks, the floor is yours. I want to just express my gratitude to you guys for being here, and I hope that I can possibly meet both of you in person. Seeing the fact that we do stay in the same area, it'd be dope to link up and maybe work on some stuff together.
Definitely, we can definitely do that. And big ups to you also, like with your channel. I mean, like that also takes a lot because that is putting yourself out there. Like, I speak with pictures, you using actual words and your face.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. It's little messages like that keep me going. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even thought like you're introvert. Like the way we've spoken over these few weeks, and like I feel very outspoken, and now here you're introvert. So
I'm definitely an introvert. You should ask the people I stay with. They also find it shocking that my videos turn out the way they do. But I think for me, I genuinely care about people. I genuinely care about the human mind, the human psyche, and what makes up every creative. Why are so many photographers so different? I want to understand them, and I want to get to learn as much as I can from them. And I think my passion for learning and getting to know people surpasses my introvertedness and kind of strikes that balance, I guess.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for that, and I think that's where we'll close off.
Thank you, and looking forward to more of these.
Oh, wait.